Parshas Yisro, Tavshin Pei. We're coming to you once again. Baruch Hashem, we have the opportunity to be here in Yerushalayim to record the shir from the Yarchei Kala of Reb Lezer Abder Shlita's shir that we, Baruch Hashem, are zeicha to do this every year, and it's been an absolutely phenomenal week. Wonderful Magidei shir, people that came to be mashpia us, to encourage us. It's really, really been fantastic, and we're looking forward to the rest of the Yarchei Kala. Parshas Yisro, there's so much going on here. But before Kabbalas HaTorah is written in this week's Parsha, the Torah tells us a very interesting thing that happened. Yisro, who is Moshe Rabbeinu's father-in-law, he comes, and like a good father-in-law, he gives his son-in-law a wonderful idea. And he looks at Moshe Rabbeinu, and he sees that Moshe Rabbeinu is totally overwhelmed. The shilas he has to answer, the things that Moshe Rabbeinu has to deal with. And Yisro tells him, Moshe Rabbeinu, this is not going to work out. Long term, this can't work. No fault, Tibo, you're just going to be worn out. You're not going to be able to handle it. And he gives him a suggestion. And he says, V'atos echazem mikol ha'om, anshe chayil, Yirei Elikim, Anshe Emes, Soine Votze. He gives him a list of requirements to go find some other people. V'samto alehem, like this: Sarei Alofim, Sarei Meyois, Sarei Chamishim, V'Sarei Asarois. That you're going to build a tree, and you're going to have that the less complicated shilas will go to this group, and as you need more, you'll move up the totem pole, and you'll start all the way until you reach Moshe Rabbeinu. But Moshe Rabbeinu won't have to deal with every shaila. And everyone will have a place to go to answer their shaila. So Rashi brings Divrei Chazal that this parsha of V'atos echazeh was actually said after Yom HaKippurim. It was actually said after Moshe Rabbeinu came back down from Har Sinai. But Ein mukdam u'meuchar b'Torah. We have a klal. We know that the Torah is not necessarily written in any chronological order. And since Ein mukdam u'meuchar b'Torah, so the parsha of V'atos echazeh was actually written in the Torah before Kabbalas HaTorah. Before we go ahead and say the S.S.S. Dibros, although the Nesivos Shalom tells us that although we know Ein mukdam u'meuchar b'Torah, but there still is a reason why things are moved around. Things are not moved around for no reason. So why was this parsha of V'atos echazeh taken out from after Kabbalas HaTorah and written in the Torah now before Kabbalas HaTorah? And the Mechilta tells us that when the Torah tells us Vayichan Sham Yisrael Neged Ahar, we know very famous Mechilta that it's written in a singular lashon. It's written as if speaking to one person. Vayichan Sham Yisrael, singular, and it's telling us that Klal Yisrael was now Ki'ish Echad B'Lev Echad, as opposed to all the other travels and all the other times that they stopped. This time it was, the other ones were machlokes, but this time everybody was together as one, ba'achdas. And the way it seems is that it's mashma, that it actually is a prerequisite for Kabbalas HaTorah. If the Torah tells us, Vayichan Sham Yisrael Neged Ahar, Ki'ish Echad B'Lev Echad, that they were one, then it seems that it's a prerequisite. In order to have Kabbalas HaTorah, that Kabbalas HaTorah has to be that everybody has to be ba'achdas, everybody has to be together. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu spoke to Klal Yisrael in the collective. We know before Kabbalas HaTorah, all the things that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Klal Yisrael was in a collective way, plural. Atem re'isem, you all saw. S.S.S. al kanfei nisharim, again, plural. V'avi eschem Eloi, I will bring you to me, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says. Eschem, again, a plural lashon. But by Kabbalas HaTorah itself, when we came to Kabbalas HaTorah, the S.S.S. Hadibros was said b'lashon yachid. Because for this reason, says the Nesivos Shalom, because Kabbalas HaTorah, in order to be makabel the Torah, Yidin, Klal Yisrael need to be ba'achdus. And without that, there cannot and could not be a Kabbalah Satorah. The Gemara tells us, Masechta Tainis, Daf Chavav, Amud Beis, that we learn from a pasuk in Shir Hashirim that Kabbalah Satorah is like the Yom Chasun Asoi. It is a day that Klal Yisrael, Kaviyachal, became married to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's a wedding between Hashem and Klal Yisrael. And the only way that could be is if Klal Yisrael was as one. Klal Yisrael had to be one in order to become wed to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. B'leiv echad, ki ish echad. And it's something very interesting. Nesivos Shalom tells us that the Mefarshim say that the 600,000 letters of the Torah, however that's actually counted, that the 600,000 letters of the Torah, they correspond to the 600,000 unique neshamas of Klal Yisrael that were there at that time. And just as if one letter of the Torah is missing, the Sefer Torah is possible. We know you're missing a letter in the Sefer Torah. You can have every other letter written beautifully. One letter missing, it's possible. So too, if one member of Klal Yisrael had not been ba'achdus at that time, there would be no Kabbalah Satorah. We need every person. We need every neshama. And not only that, something very, very interesting. You know, in the Sefer Torah, even if you have every letter, but if one letter is too far apart from another letter in the Sefer Torah is also puzzle. So if we're looking at each letter as a neshama in Klal Yisrael, if we're looking at if you're missing a letter, so too, if Yidin, if Klal Yisrael, if Jews are too far apart from each other, so we cannot have a Kabbalah Satorah. So we needed everybody, b'leiv echad ki ish echad. And the Torah tells us in Devarim Chavtes, Vayikra Moshe el Kol Yisrael, that Moshe Rabbeinu called out to Kol Yisrael. The Medrash tells us like this: Amar Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, Ilu hayu Yisrael chaserim afilu adam echad. If one person was not ba'achdus in Klal Yisrael, lo yhoisa shchina nigles aleim. They would not have been zoiche to the shchina. Dichsiv ki vayoyim hashlishi yered Hashem le'enei kol ha'am. It had to be everyone together, the entire Klal Yisrael ba'achdus. And we find the same idea too by Banim Atem L'Hashem Elokeichem. The pasuk also in Chumash Devarim, the pasuk says Banim Atem L'Hashem Elokeichem. The Ramah Mipanu says in his Sefer Eser Ma'amoros that only a Klal Yisrael that is united is considered Banim Atem. Banim Atem, all of you. If we want to be children to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then we have to be together. It has to be no machlokes. We have to be as one as Klal Yisrael should be. Not a yochid. Bonim atem. This is a plural lashon. Everyone together. When we're all together, then we are children to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is an av only to children who are ba'achdus. And the Torah tells us by the Bnei Tzlafchad. The Bnei Tzlafchad said, Lama yigor Hashem Avinu mitoich mishpachtoi. Why should the name of our father be downgraded, be less mitoich mishpachtoi? It says in Nesivos Shalom, a beautiful pshat on these words, and he says, Lama yigor Hashem Avinu. Why do you take away the shame of Avinu that is only there when we are mishpachtoi? Lama yigor Hashem Avinu mitoich mishpachtoi. From the only time that the HaKadosh Baruch Hu gets a name of Avinu is when we are together, when we're one. And now we can understand why the parsha of S.S.S. is placed in the Torah, as our original question was, before Kabbalah Satorah. What does S.S.S. discuss? It discusses the inyan of building Klal Yisrael together. It tells us that one person, Moshe Rabbeinu, needs help. And to build Klal Yisrael, it needs to be built as a tree, where there are many branches that branch off into leaves and different things, but they're all being nurtured from the roots. They're all being nurtured for one thing, but together everything is as one. Everything is nurtured from the roots. And we have Sarei Chamishim, we have Sarei Me'ois, we have Sarei Alofim, we have Sarei Asarois, we have all of those. But they're all sprouting and they're coming from the koyach of Moshe Rabbeinu. But as we know in a tree, every single thing in the tree gets its nourishment all from one place. Everybody, everything in the tree is one. So we changed the order of the Torah to tell us and to let us know that the eternal preparation for Kabbalah Torah, not just then, as we always say from the Nesivos Shalom, the lessons that are learned in the Torah are eternal lessons. These are lessons that are for everybody in Klal Yisrael. And what we're learning from here is that the eternal preparation for Kabbalah Torah is that Klal Yisrael has to have achdus and has to be as one in order to be Makabel the Torah. We come to Parshas Yisro this week. In the Svarim HaKadoshim, it's called Shabbos Kabbalah Torah. And the Hasidic Svarim for sure, and the Nesivos Shalom tells us that the hashpois of being Makabel the Torah, if the Yid wants to be Makabel the Torah, it's this week you have an opportunity. We're going to read the S.S.S. we're going to have Kabbalah Torah, it's this week, but we can't forget what are the prerequisites for being Makabel the Torah. So if there's any machlokes, if you're chas v'shalom involved in anything, this is the week to make shalom. This is the week more than ever to try to make sure that Klal Yisrael is ba'achdus as one. And every one of us should be taka zoicha this year to have the Kabbalah Torah, to be able to have the emes of Kabbalah Torah, where we all are b'shalom and at peace with one another and ba'achdus, and we should all be zoicha together to actually be able to stay here in Yerushalayim. And we know the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed because of sinas chinam. It's clear that we haven't fixed the problem yet. We haven't fixed it. This is the week. Let's work on it. Let's be ba'achdus, that we should all be zoicha together to stay right here in Yerushalayim, Yirah Kodesh, with Mashiach Tzidkenu, b'mheira b'yameinu, amen.